People who have killed, seriously injured someone and don't regret it. What's the story behind it? Unfiltered Confessions, voiced by William Bennett. Mid-90s, working security. Found a guy breaking into a car. Didn't see the other guy behind me that proceeded to stab me in my left lung. Pulled my revolver and pulled a bullet in his stomach with a knife still in me. This is pre-cell phone, so I radioed my partner and had him call an ambulance. They cut the other guy at the hospital after his friend dropped him off there, and I think he got sentenced to 8 years. Badass story besides you getting stabbed part, but who exactly was arrested? That guy that got shot or his friend? They arrested the guy I shot. He basically confessed when questioned in the hospital. My little brother and I attended the same elementary school. This happened when I was in 5th grade and he was in 3rd grade. Growing up, my little brother was scrawny and got made fun of a lot since he wore glasses and cries easily. We would always either ride our bikes or walk home from school together since we lived close enough. One day I was picking him up as usual after my tennis class. I turned the corner to his classroom and I saw another boy push my brother down to the ground and stepped on his head. I lost my shit. Came up to the kid and swung my tennis racket right against his open mouth and 2 of his front teeth came out. There was blood everywhere. He screamed bloody murder. Teachers came out, snatched the tennis racket out of my hand and grabbed me by the arm to the principal's office. Kid had to get stitches on his lower lip where one tooth ripped into the flesh. I got in so much trouble, but it was worth it. Knowing my brother didn't get picked on as much after that happened. Everybody knew his psycho sister, LOL. My wife and I were walking back to our car at 2 a.m. downtown after hanging out with friends to get my emergency debit card out of car to get a hotel because we weren't sure if we were sober enough to drive. Car was about a mile away in a garage and a now empty street. Noticed this weird combination of dude bro hipster was following us and getting closer but not thinking anything of it. He manages to sneak up on us and kicks my wife in the back and laughs. Never seen this guy before or anything. I hit him harder than anybody I've ever hit in my life. He falls to the ground and tries to wrestle me and I skin off the side of his face and forehead by basically using the concrete as a belt sander. I get off him because I assume he'll realize I will kill him if he keeps fighting. He tries to attack me again, so we get back to the ground and I just start beating his eye socket over and over until he was smashed, blood pouring out of his eye and my hand is now broken. I get off him again and he is still trying to attack. Probably should have left at that point because we could have easily fled, but I was still in fight or flight mode and I don't have the flight mode for some reason and I blood choke him out, not air. He goes out. I put him on the side, make sure he has a clear airway and blood won't pour into his mouth, and use his phone to call him an ambulance. It was the entrance to the garage that this happened at and it was all in the view of the security camera. I don't feel like dealing with the police that night, so I go up the security camera and put my license in front of it for a few seconds because I assume they will review the footage and if they need to talk to me, they will see my license info as well as my license plate on my car that I ended up walking to. Never heard anything back. This was like 10 years ago. If I was the security guard seeing you belt sanding a dude face before punching his eye socket to a bloody pulp and then choking him out only to show me his license in front of the camera, I would delete that thing. I ain't got no beef with you, bro. I celebrate your actions and also fear you with all my heart. Long story short, I was 17, home alone. I heard noises outside and the dog was barking like mad. I took him with me, as well as my dad's rifle. When I caught some men trying to steal from my dad's massive tool-filled workshop, I shot it at him. He turned and had a gun in his hand, and I shot him out of reflex. Then I ran inside and called 911 because I was a stupid kid that should have done that in the first place. He lived. I thankfully hit his shoulder. If my hands hadn't been shaking, it might have been a different story. I dealt with some guilt for a few months after, but it was 20 years ago and now that I have kids, I regret nothing. Not sure if this counts as I didn't physically kill the person, but I feel as if my actions contributed to someone's death. A friend of my brother's showed up at my house out of the blue on a Saturday night and begged to crash on my couch. I barely knew her and honestly never really liked her, but she said she was having trouble where she was staying and had nowhere else to go. I set up an air mattress for her on my living room floor. Around 9 p.m. she asked if I would walk half a block with her to the local bar. It was snowing pretty hard, so I had made sure she had on a hat and gloves, boots and a jacket. At midnight I had enough and wanted to go home, but she was having a good time and wanted to stay. I told her that the door would be unlocked. She never made it to my house. The police found her dead body covered in snow on the train tracks next to my house. Cause of death, hypothermia, BAC.18. Do I feel awful for leaving her at the bar? Absolutely. But do I regret offering her a place to stay and spending time with her when no one else would? No. At least someone was there for her on her last night on Earth. I beat the crap out of 2 other guys for beating up my friend. 3rd guy ran off. Smart move. Here's a brief story since I don't want to glorify it. My friend has always been the target of bullies, and I was as well before puberty turned me into a behemoth. I love my friend and he's my best friend to this day, almost 30 years later. Bullies were shoving him. I intervened and they went out of their way to find my friend when I wasn't nearby. They found him and beat him so badly I just freaked out. I found the 3 assholes in the stairwell, kicked their leader down the steps and trailed behind, beating him as hard as I could while one of his friends tried hitting me. I don't remember much of the events after that, but when I came to the principal's office, my dad and my friend's dad were there. My friend's dad was screaming at the principal about how his son is constantly being attacked, and I'm the only one who has done a thing to protect him. The guy that ran away and the backup friend were there. Backup had a broken eye socket and a messed up face. Peter was nowhere to be seen. He went to the hospital. I don't know what I did to him, but I didn't get more than a month of detention. Thanks, I think, to my friend's dad threatening the school. Dad was proud of me, but that's no surprise since his blood is where I got my anger and strength from. I got pretty badly bruised myself, but I didn't even remember getting hit. Leader bully came back to school like a month later and never ever trash talked his friends. That was sophomore year. Nobody messed with me or my friend ever again after that. Friend is doing fine today. He's always been tough. I ended up with the label of goddamn psycho, which was worth it to protect my friend. When I was much younger, I found myself tied up with a few members of a local gang. Me and my friend would buy weed from them on occasion, and eventually they tried to set us up on a country-line drug trafficking scheme. We eventually got posted up north of the UK in a little apartment and would sell weed and coke out of it. After about a week and a half, this one drugged up loon tried to force himself through the door after he realized how much product we had. I'm guessing he had been following us for a while. He eventually got through and charged at us, but we fought back and ended up stabbing him a few times in self-defense during the scramble. Never knew if he made it. We left immediately, although I can regret it since it was self-defense. I'm sympathetic to people like him who are so consumed by drugs they're willing to physically harm children just for a hit. I worked security for a hotel. Taxi guy came in and shoved the cleaning lady around while she was cleaning up the restrooms in the lobby. I just happened to be chatting up at the front desk and saw him go in. I was making my way over there because we'd had issues with taxi drivers before. Cleaning lady comes out to tell me what happened. I go in and tell him he needs to leave. Started yelling and threatening me and telling me he was going to blacklist our hotel. I told him good luck and he needs to get out before I escorted him out. He didn't like that and turned to shove me. I let him, then completely lost it on him. For some context, I am a combat vet and ex-police, so I know how to handle myself. This guy did too, but after a couple of rounds, I was able to get him in a solid armbar and take him outside. On the way out, he decided he didn't want to leave and went dead weight on me. But because of the angle I had his arm, it popped out of its socket. Didn't mean to dislocate his shoulder, but 100% would do it again. Make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on more super interesting discussions. In the meantime, you can check out our other videos.